If you've worked in sustainability for any length of time, there's a very good chance you can recite this sentence from memory. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's probably the most frequently quoted sentence in the entire sustainability movement. You'll find it mentioned in corporate sustainability reports, in government publications, university courses, conference presentations, and, increasingly, it's the answer you'll receive if you ask an AI model. But I'd like to ask a different question in this episode of The Inquiry. Can one sentence at the beginning of chapter 2 on page 43 really summarize a report that runs to almost 400 pages? I don't think so. I certainly wouldn't claim to understand a 400-page business strategy or a scientific report or even a government policy by reading just one sentence near the beginning. So, why have we gradually come to treat one sentence as though it adequately represents one of the most influential reports and one of the most complex, interconnected strategic challenges that humanity has ever faced? That question led me back here. Not the summaries, not to the websites, not to the quotations, but to the actual report itself. There's another reason I think this really matters. Many of today's sustainability professionals weren't even in the profession when this report was first published in 1987. Many have inherited ideas that have already been interpreted, summarized, taught, and embedded into professional practice. That's not a criticism. It's a description simply of how knowledge evolves. One generation studies the original source material. The next inherits the summary. The generation after that often inherits the summary of the summary. Eventually, the summary begins to replace the source itself. Today, those inherited summaries increasingly become part of the knowledge that's used to train artificial intelligence. AI didn't create the summary, it inherited it. Which means that if we've unintentionally simplified an important idea over the past 40 years, AI now has the potential to reproduce that same simplified understanding at extraordinary speed and scale. I'll come back to that in a later inquiry. So I went back to read the report again. Not looking for mistakes, not trying to rewrite history, but simply asking the question, what did the Commission actually say? What I found wasn't a contradiction. It was something much more interesting. The Brundtland Commission wasn't trying to define sustainability. It was defining sustainable development. Sustainable development. Think about that for a moment. Sustainable development is sustainability applied to development. Business sustainability is sustainability applied to business. Sustainable finance is sustainability applied to finance. Sustainable agriculture is sustainability applied to agriculture? You get the idea. They're all applications. Applications, not definitions. And that naturally raises another important question. If these are all applications, what is the more fundamental idea they're being applied from? So I kept reading. Immediately after the famous sentence that everyone can recite, the Commission says something remarkable. It contains within it two key concepts. Not one, two. The Commission is telling us how it wants us to understand its own definition. First, the concept of needs, with particular priority given to the essential needs of the world's poor. Only then, the second concept of limitations that are imposed by the state of technology and social organization on the wider environment's ability to meet present and future needs. Notice the order. Needs, then limitations. The Commission didn't simply give us two ideas. It gave us a hierarchy. And that hierarchy is part of the meaning. Today's inquiry isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's simply an invitation to return to one of the most influential reports of the modern era, and to read it again, or for the first time, but with fresh eyes. Because if the Brundtland Commission deliberately told us there were two key concepts, perhaps we should ask why most conversations stop before they even reach them. And if sustainable development is sustainability applied to development, then the question we must answer next is, what is sustainability itself? And I'll explore that in the next edition of The Inquiry.